India, the British colony, where the concept of Victorian era that women are the child bearer and child rearer is quite established. The British India, a high mortality rate of the neonates and a social Darwinism saying that women had not been evolved like a man till death is accepted. The miserable condition of the woman in a society encouraging child marriage, depriving half of the population from the basic needs, health and education. Let us see the situation with the eyes of an progressive Delhi of the time, the Brahmo public opinion. It says, we know several instances in the Orthodox Hindu families where the female members suffered from many complicated diseases, but yet would not allow the male doctors to treat them. Consequence is they are treated in a second hand through the assistance of an uneducated quack native midwife, and in 99% of the cases they were never cured. The condition was as pitiable that in a Muslim family the pulse of a woman was examined by tying a thread on her wrist. How? Well, the answer is quite interesting. One end of the thread was tied to her wrist and other end was held by the doctor, thus expecting a diagnosis. Under these circumstances, the first person to provide the Indian woman with a modern health care came from USA, Clara S. Swain. In 1869, she was awarded the highest honor of British India, Kaiser-e-Hind, for her contribution to the health system in India. Her call to the service in India fell from a need to have a female physician to provide the quality medical care to the high caste women who were religiously secluded as zenana. There was an urgent need for the Indian women physicians to provide their fellow countrymen with a quality modern medicine. Such being the scenario, Babu Nilkamal Mitra of Calcutta volunteered to send her granddaughter Biraj Mohini to medical college, but under his own terms, saying her granddaughter is to be taught by her spouse, who was a medical student, and she is to maintain the Parda system in the college. Even though these conditions were surprisingly accepted by the authorities of the college, she didn't turn up. At last, in 1883, three legendary women from the three corners of the country came to the rescue of the society. Anandibai Gopalrao Joshi from Pune, Annie Jagannathan from Madras, and Kadambini Ganguly from Calcutta. Gopalrao Joshi, Anandi's liberal husband, was one such person who stood by his wife, acting as the greatest inspiration and a push when she expressed her desire to study medicine at the age of 14. After losing the first child just 10 days post-delivery because of the unavailability of the medical resources. An instance stands as evidence to this man's inclination towards his wife's education. One day, Anandi was found helping her grandmother in the kitchen. Gopal Rao flew into uncontrollable rage and ended up beating the young girl with a bamboo stick. Quite contradictory with the norms of the society, isn't it? Anandibai Joshi was one of the first South Asian female physicians and the first Indian woman physician to be trained in the tradition of the Western medicine. What actually made her the first female physician of India? Born in an extremely orthodox Marathi Brahmin family, a 9-year-old girl got married to a widower who was thrice her age. Sounds like a typical old Indian saga. Not really. Even though she died at 22, she opened the avenues for many young women who aspired to do much more than their petty household chores. In 1880, he sent a letter to a well-known American missionary. After 3 years of correspondence, Theodika Carpenter, being impressed by Anandi's earnestness and keenness, offered her the help. She got her MD degree in 1886 from Women's Medical College, Pennsylvania. On her graduation, Queen Victoria sent her a congratulatory message. This was Kadambini Ganguly. This extraordinary woman has many firsts to her credit. She was one of the 2 first women graduates of India. She was a prominent figure for women reforms and emancipation. She was the first woman to address an open session in the National Women Congress in 1890. It's our fortune that his father Brajakishore Bose was a great social reformer encouraging women education, and so his spouse Dwarkanath Ganguly. It's noteworthy that Kadambini went to a medical college at the age of 22 after getting married and handled the strain of being only female candidate amongst the rest male fellows, isn't it? She had to face social, sexual and racial discrimination in each step. Even some of her professor and colleagues felt it to be an audacity of a lady to study medicine. She got her triple diploma degree and became LRCP Edinburgh, LRCS Glasgow and GFPS Dublin, and started her private practice as a fully accomplished and a finest doctor. A radical group of Hindus launched a slender complaint against her. Although she was a responsible doctor and a caring mother, she was indirectly called as whore by the conservative journal Bangabasi in 1891. Kadambini won a libel case against the editor of the journal Mahesh Chandra Pal, who was sentenced to imprisonment for 6 months. The lamp the exceptional ladies had enlightened in the most adverse situation. We should recognize ourselves as the sparkle of the fire of the lamp they had once enlightened. It should be our duty to be inclined to the thoughts about the suffering society, and it will be the right tribute to those personalities for whom we, the Indian women, have got the opportunity in all sense. Come up, be out of the shell of the comfort.
আমি প্রণাম জানাই সেই প্রথম আগুনকে, যার নাম বর্ণ পরিচয়, সেই অগ্নিশুদ্ধ পরম্পরাকে, সেই সব পুরুষ রমণীকে যারা ঊনবিংশ শতাব্দীর অন্ধকারের হাতলে জ্ঞানের আলো জ্বালিয়ে এক জন্মেই আমাকে জন্ম জন্মান্তরের দরজা খুলে দিয়েছেন। আমার হাতে জ্বলছে দিশারীদের শিক্ষার মহান আগুন। আমি সেই মেয়েটি।